welcome back to my channel. I'm Angela, and I just want to take an opportunity here to welcome everyone to my channel. I'm seeing a lot of new faces, a lot of new subscribers, and I just want to welcome you all and thank you for stopping by, watching my videos, and liking them. I really appreciate it. We are in the middle of a pantry challenge. In fact, today happens to be the beginning of the third week. So that first week was just a few short couple of days, but nonetheless, here we are at the beginning of the third week. And I started to kind of think a little bit about where people's weaknesses might be. And I kind of wanted to show you how I am trying to avoid what I know are my weaknesses that would make me potentially fall short of breaking some of the rules here in my challenge. And so for me personally, the two areas I might fall short in is a midday stop or morning stop even for coffee, or in this particular case, that's an iced chai latte. One of the goals I had set for me to replace a grocery store purchased item that I mentioned back in one of my grocery hauls was chai latte. I absolutely love this stuff, and I love it from pretty much any coffee shop that I have been to. It's one of my favorites, but I know that if I took the time, it's something that I'd be able to make for myself. So that's what we're going to attempt to do today. I will say, all in all, the ingredients on this particular brand, this particular box here, really isn't terrible. I really expected it to be worse than it is. I would say the only questionable items on here are natural flavors. Of course, we don't know what that means. They're not going to give a list of everything because that then is kind of hinting towards their recipe, if you will. But it does list all of the other items. Black tea, which I have. Black pepper, check. I have ginger, cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, star anise, sugar, honey, ginger juice. I do have that as well. Vanilla extract, and citric acid. Now the citric acid I'm not necessarily going to need for the batch that I'm making, because that's what keeps this fresh and preserved while they're going through their preservation process. Mine is going to be gone within a day to, well, we'll see how much it makes, but I'm generally thinking whatever batch I make will last me just a few days, just shy under a week, I am sure. So it is a concentrate that I'm looking to make, which means you have to add something to it to dilute, which in my case I add milk. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go into the kitchen. I'm going to gather up all the ingredients from my pantry, and we're going to see if we can replicate as best as possible. I never expect that exact flavor, but I want it to be just as flavorful and enjoyable, of course, as what I have here. This is my last box. I've got one more serving out of it, so I'm really hoping I can replicate this. I have this blend of chai tea. Oh, it smells so good. So this has cardamom, this has the star anise, it looks like there's ginger, allspice, cinnamon. The cinnamon is in like little tiny pieces. I think it's got everything in here. The only thing I don't know is if it has black tea in it or not. So I'm going to just move forward and assume it does not have it, because if it does, it's not a whole lot anyhow. So the first thing I'm going to do, I have my skillet here on the stove top. It's nice and hot. I want to toast this before I get it into the pot to simmer. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Now the recipes I'm using, I'm kind of combining a couple different recipes, and I'm just using it as a source of inspiration. they have us counting out 10 of this, 10 of that, 2 of this. Mine's already a blend, so I do have most of these separate, but I might as well use the blend that I do have. So I'm gonna go with a couple tablespoons. Let's see what that looks like when I get it measured out. I'm gonna say a hefty 1/4 cup, 4 tablespoons, 4 to 5 tablespoons, which is more or less a hefty 1/4 cup. While this is toasting up in my pot over here, I'm going to get 4 cups of water. I'm glad I saw that the lid was on. That'd have been a mess. I'm gonna start getting my water to simmer here. And I'm just gonna toast these, and I'm starting to smell the aromatics that this is releasing, so I'm actually gonna cut the heat because my cast iron will stay hot for some time. I certainly don't wanna scorch or burn anything. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Talk about stovetop potpourri. It smells amazing. Get these into the water now. Okay, so I have these, which is a jelly strainer. I used to have really small tea bags, mesh tea bags, but I ran out. I don't have any anymore, so that's okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this hooked up to some sort of something, probably in a bowl. And once everything needs to be strained, this is what I will use to strain everything out of, so we don't have any bits of anything floating around. Because the tea that I'm using is also loose leaf, I'm not using tea bags. So you can use cheesecloth, you can use, I would wash it really well so it doesn't have any residual flavor. But if you have a coffee pot, you can use the basket with the coffee filter and just strain it through that way. That would work as well. You just want something to strain everything out of if you're not putting it in something to steep it in the water to begin with. So this will simmer 10 minutes and we'll go to the next step. After about 10 minutes, you can see how much darker that water is. Let me tell you, it smells absolutely amazing. Chai is a variety of warmth, seasonal, like it's all of those aromas that make you think of the holidays, and so it just smells absolutely amazing. I'm gonna let this go for about another 5 minutes. Okay, this is where I'm gonna add my 2 tablespoons of black tea, and I'm gonna let this seep with the sugar for about 5 minutes. Now, I do not have my water at a boil. I just have it at a low simmer. We're just looking to steep the tea and all of the spices to release those aromatics and oils into our water. The amount of sugar that we add is going to be personal preference. So I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, dark brown sugar, because I love the depth that molasses can bring and really helps to bring out some of the flavors in here. But then I'm also going to use about a tablespoon or so of honey. We were so blessed. My husband's friend has his own bees, and he blessed us with being able to get a couple jars from him. And this is his fall time honey, and it's an absolute beautiful dark amber. It's amazing. It is so flavorful. So I'm going to add some of that in there, and we're going to let this continue steeping for 5 minutes, and then I'll give it a little bit of a taste to see if I might not need to add a little bit more sugar. All right, so it's been 5 minutes, and we're looking to make sure that that sugar has been dissolved, and I don't really feel any grittiness at the bottom, so I think we're good to go. The color is absolutely beautiful. Now that we added that black tea, most definitely can see that color change. So I'm gonna get a little spoon, and we're gonna see if I can't taste a bit of this. Looks pretty. It is most definitely a concentrate, but I feel like we're right on the path that we need to be. I've got some vanilla powder here. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of that. And then if I think I need a little bit more hint of vanilla, I could add extract once it's off of the heat. So we're gonna add that in there. I think I do want a little bit more of a sweeter flavor. I'm gonna add another tablespoon brown sugar. I do have this ginger juice. Now, I'm not a huge fan of ginger, and I just don't know that I want to add that in here just yet. I think I might try this first batch without it, and then I'll see if I feel like it needs to be added later on. Okay, I'm gonna cut the heat because I don't want it steeping for too long over the actual fire. Well, in this case, the burner. Okay, I feel like that added tablespoon of brown sugar and vanilla was like the missing link. So we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna leave it off of the heat now for 10 minutes, and then we will strain it. So I have a bowl here to catch the liquid, and then I'm gonna pour our mixture into the jelly bag here. I'm going to attempt to do this, of course, without burning myself. I don't recommend that you guys do it this way at home. I thought I had the stand for this, and if I do, I don't know where it is. So let's see what we can do. That's not too bad. So I went ahead and decanted our concentrate into this glass jar here, and we're gonna go ahead and give this a test, and I'm gonna do it in a couple different ways. So first, I'm going to test the color of this compared to this concentrate. Just just gonna do a real little bit at a time. Okay, I'm gonna bring you in close so you can see what I'm seeing. So my concentrate looks more brown in the way I would expect like an iced tea to look. And the store-bought is a little bit more of a dirty, almost coffee-like brown. So that's the first difference. However, I will say they're far more similar in color than I guess than I was expecting. So I think we're off to a really good start because it's not way too light and it certainly isn't super dark either. So I think we're right where we need to be. All right, and I have them both over ice. I'm going to taste each concentrate to see if mine is like way too strong. Then I know I need to dilute it a little bit more with water. My dogs are playing in the background, I apologize. Mine smells way better, and it could be because it's incredibly fresh, I don't know. So let's taste them. Okay, definitely concentrated, very sweet. I feel like mine's the same level of concentration, but it's not as sweet, which I kind of expected. I can't imagine how much sugar they've added to this. So 24 grams of added sugar per 3/4 cup. So, all right, now what we're gonna do is we're going to try it with a little bit of the milk to dilute each side. I go just under half and half concentration because I do like a more stronger flavor. That's the one I've been drinking. I've been sipping on that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and try the store-bought. Very good. Okay, that is really interesting. So I was afraid initially that the amount that I chose of the chai tea blend, I was afraid I chose too much. When I initially was testing it to check on the flavor, I was really concerned it was going to be way too strong. But I'm definitely happy to report that adding the little bit of milk to make it the latte definitely brings down the tones quite a bit. Now what I'm going to have to figure out is if I enjoy it less sweet. I tell you what, that is absolutely delicious. Because mine is less sweet, I can pick up on those notes of the chai much better. Where initially when you drink the store-bought, you know you're getting sugar in it. It's very sweet. But I will say, even though the taste is stronger in mine, this one still has like the after taste lingering of warmth of that chai within your mouth. And so, you know, I think what I'm going to do Boy, that's really good though. I think this is a great start. I will be honest, I half expected to end this video saying, well, you guys, we tried it. It didn't quite work out, so we're gonna try again and get back to that drawing board. I am really pleased to tell you that the first go round, I think, is pretty fantastic. I think I will play around with it just a smidgen and adding, maybe I do need to add some of that ginger juice, because I'm wondering if that depth of flavor, how it's somewhat warm, and you know, if you know ginger, it has, I guess I could say, like a spice to it almost. So I'm wondering if that's what I'm missing. Either way, I'm going to enjoy this. This is not going to have to go down the drain, which is what I was fearing. And what this tells me is I can absolutely do a little research to try and replace something that I am getting from the store. A couple reasons for that. One, I think it is probably more healthy in most cases, not all, for me to make it at home. It's also saving me money. I've purchased that chai blend probably a year ago, and buying it in the bulk that I did, and then the amounts that I use little by little, I mean, that jar wasn't, I know it wasn't full, but it was about 2/3 full, and I've just made hot tea after hot tea with it. And so it is much cheaper for me to go that route than it is buying this individually. I want to say this is, with some change, $5 per box, and I buy several boxes at a time to keep in my pantry, and so it's going to save me money. And the great news is, during a pantry challenge, whether I've imposed it on myself or nature has some other plans and maybe I'm forced to stay inside, I can make a drink that I find very comforting, very delicious, and then I also won't be challenged to not go through the drive-thru. So I hope this is something that you benefit from, that this is something that I am doing to hopefully help me in my journey with my pantry challenge, and I'm going to enjoy this so much for the remaining of the week. It does say in most of the recipes that I've kind of combined all through and gotten inspiration from, most all of them say that the concentrate will stay good in your fridge for about 2 weeks. So this will definitely be gone within the 2 weeks. So I'm happy that you came along with me for this. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and sharing my video. And I'll see you again next time we're in this kitchen figuring out the pantry challenge together.